awesome. We're going to get right into it. I'm bringing in my best friend, Eddie Martinez, and we just spent a lot of time together. And I just wanted to have a discussion because I think it's pretty freaking awesome what just took place. How you doing, Eddie? How are you, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing great. Doing great.
Awesome. We're in that like phase of our life where it's we could back off if we want to and just kind of enjoy the 20 years of accumulation and et cetera. But I think we're starting to do more than we ever have.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you said. It's like sometimes it's the time of our lives when we're halfway through and we just kind of like decelerate and slow down. But I don't feel that that's going to happen, especially with us and what the goals and the mission that we have. It's so big that there's no stepping down. I mean, we can balance our lives in a way where we can enjoy our families and be there for them, but we also live by example for others and just put the pedal to the metal and keep going. Yeah.
And I think the living by example is huge, and it's now we've started this accountability thing on our personal fitness levels that has risen up, which could feel awkward at first, but it's like the outcome is it makes us better men, better leaders, and I feel like we're in that realm of our life that our leadership is needed more than ever now. And what a better way to lead by example. The big
Yeah.
word that keeps coming to my mind is the word tribe. And I love that word. It's like, you bring in an assistant doc in the office and they call them associates, which just seems so weak. It's almost like now they're part of the tribe and they're gonna start coming up the tiers and levels. And I feel like what people really need is to surround themselves with people with the know-how, the knowledge, the experience to raise them up. And that brings me to the thought process of bringing Mission Upper Cervical back to the forefront, which, we had backed off, man, because it's hard work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and just getting our timing as far as our schedules. You got the 5 kids, I got the 4, and they got things going on as well. And it's as a dad and as a parent, you don't want to miss any of that stuff. So
No.
it's being there for them, but also doing what we got to do because we're not done, right?
Yeah, and I think it's the strategy is working around them, or even bringing them in it. We could do this thing in places that we bring our kids and they could go off and do stuff and enjoy and have an experience. But yet, the mission is, when you look at these young chiropractors coming up and even ones that are in practice, they're starving for knowledge and know-how like we just did. So what our past week has been, and Eddie's was even busier than mine. We were in Atlanta for a long weekend, and Eddie's wife out of Selly flew in with us to get it organized and set up. And we did Mission Upper Cervical there. We had about 15 doctors there, students, and we trained. And it was training. And, I think one of the cool things too is, like Friday night we went out and had dinner and had a couple salads, et cetera. And it was like the old us would have been banging back a bunch of beers, but we knew we couldn't. We had to be clear and focused for the next day. And the next day was just powerful. I mean, it was a long day. It was from 12 to 8 we ended up going.
Yep. Even longer. Yeah.
Even longer. And then it was
stick around, and then people just want more and more, and we're here to serve and give. But yeah, I mean, even after training hard and everybody was sore and pretty much exhausted, they just wanted more. And like you were saying, as we've traveled between DE, Mission Upper Cervical, the ICA. We've been to the schools, the chiropractic schools, and what I've seen is that, like you said, the students and doctors as well, they're just hungry for not only the principle but a way to deliver it, and they just want to put it all together. And I think that we can do that.
Yeah.
And as far as the family, like you said, integrating the family, we've had our kids involved with what we do because we're teaching about life. And how to live your best life and be the best version of yourself, no matter what avenue our kids go. As far as some of them might want to be chiropractors, some might want to be computer engineers, somebody want to be a bar owner, whatever it is, but they're gonna have these values and this foundation that we've exposed them to all these years. So as far as bringing them together, they're gonna want to be there with us.
Yeah. And one of the biggest things I saw with the mission upper cervical was, there was all the X-ray, learning how to scan, pattern analysis, learning listings, and just drills after drills after drills. But it was also that, when we sat down in that circle and just, we opened up a Q&A and what came out of that moment, which, it stays private mostly with the group, because it got pretty intimate. It got pretty deep with, these young doctors' emotions and learning who they are, which, to me, that's the mission, because then it helps them discover their mission and passion and purpose, which we can help them do, which now you give them the tools, multiple tools on how to clear out the atlas and analyze it. It was like they started out the weekend so stressed, and this is what I learned. And it was very analytical. Well, this is and it's like, okay, you could do that, but what about this? And it was just gracefully throughout the weekend. You saw them just shedding these husks, and it was like, well, this is easier than I thought. The hard part is the work, the drills. And like you said, we were doing the drills, and we had the music blasting, and they were exhausted. And we said, are you done? And they're like, no, keep going. That was really cool, man.
Yeah, that was cool. And that's the one thing. It's you can teach technique, you can learn technique, you learn different things, whatever trade you're in. But we sat in that circle, and I think you dug deeper into a deeper level with the people that were there, and it was just like, when you have a skill, and you back it up with purpose, then there's no limits. It's unstoppable.
Exactly. Once that light bulb goes off in their head, and it was like the feedback afterward was amazing. So that's what makes it worthwhile to say, this is why we need to get on a plane, and we need to share and get this going, is because it's our profession, and the people, society, the communities, the country, the world, they need this, and they need doctors coming up fired up on purpose, on mission, and that know how to deliver the goods, detecting and correcting subluxation, and so from there we went, to Clearwater, Florida, right? Beautiful place. But I don't think I was in the pool once. I went for a walk on the beach because we were inside working, but it's a blessing that everybody could come and defrag and chill. But the fellowship and everything that goes together with people and the conversations is amazing. So, for those of you listening that don't know what that is, it's called DE, Dynamic Essentials. And why don't you share a bit about that, Ed?
DE, just a little background. DE is basically, uh, getting centered and listening to the voice of God within yourself. And DE teaches you that all the answers are not on the outside everywhere. Everybody always looks on the outside for the answers. And,
right.
and, there's other people that teach this, but DE really is its focus is on teaching you that the answer's on the inside. Listen to that voice within.
Right.
And being obedient to it and acting on that voice.
Right.
And it's really a good, it's really, and it's a place where everybody can come together from different parts of the world, culture, but all together for one main thing, and that's the beautiful thing about DE.
And it's the universal language that we speak there is love. And we sat down and I got my entire staff. We brought our whole staff to it. I just felt like they all just needed a break, and let's get there. And they all had their different experiences and different things that happened. And we sat down and broke it down. And then, I had them all write out what they got out of it. And it was all the talk of love, love, love. I'm like, where else are you going to have a job? Not many places. There are places where you're sitting around talking about love, fellowship, connection, mission, serving others, taking care of others. And it was just so cool to sit around, and things that popped up from that was things that stress them out in the workplace, how they love each other but don't like each other, and things we need to work on. Because, one of the things, said from the platform is we want to, exploit our strengths, but we also want to expose our weaknesses. And I don't think people have many places to go and be accountable for their weaknesses.
Yeah, that's the key to that. So if you're talking about the tribe, DE is a tribe.
Yep.
And you want to point out the strengths and pat everybody on the back when they're doing great, but it's also important to let them know when things aren't so good. Sometimes,
Right.
sometimes we're blinded and we don't see it
Right.
until a friend or a pal or one of your tribe will point it out to you. And that's
Right.
the way you can change and grow.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, I just got done reading the book Tribe of Millionaires, which was, it's an incredible read. I listened to it on my walks. I got through it in 2 days. It was powerful. I'll listen to it again this week. It was one of those books, and I really feel, you know, this is my big move that I've been talking about with you now, is building up a tribe of people of accountability where, you know, we don't have to have all the answers, but we know, you and I know a lot of people that are amazing humans that have a lot of answers, and we got to go beyond the chiropractic community. It's bringing this to, you know, our communities and the lay people, and you know that's what Wake Up Humans has been about, and it's gone into a whole different realm for me that I couldn't even have expected. And now you wake up and you see these needs and these holes, you know, like us teaching the mission upper cervical. But what about all the lay people, our patients that we serve? I mean, you got a busy ass practice. You could just sit in your practice and be content to take care of your people. But now we realize that once society gets this and catches on to the movement and our tribe grows, you know, we'll change the entire culture of the country and other countries once people start getting this fire.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the big thing is, you know, that we talked about at DE last weekend, for me, it was a theme in my head, basically, with everything going on in the world, and people, you know, need reassurance, but people need to know that they can live out of love and faith and not in fear. And
Right.
we make a shift, because, you know, the thing is with Mission Upper Cervical, with the circle we were in, and I think the big thing with that, it was not only technique, but it was only shifting a mindset and confidence within yourself, so that you don't have to live in
Right.
fear. Because it's kind of like we've been preparing for this the whole time, and everything that's going on is like, it hasn't really, you know, knocked us over or anything. It's been like we've been
Right.
you know, on target, true north. You know, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. So
Yep.
it's something that we can share with people. Like we said, living by example. So once people say, oh, you know, it's okay, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Keep living our lives, and yeah, it's just that's what I got out of the weekend, as far as
Yeah.
in my personal perspective.
You know, it's funny because you talk about that circle, and you know that's been really hitting me is the, you know, if people don't have, you know, in the military, I take care of a bunch of military guys, and one of the guys says one of the things he misses is they would dig a big hole in their camp, and at night they'd go stand down in the pit. They called it the pit. They would smoke their cigarettes, and they would have the, you know, be buried or have the hole so that, you know, they couldn't, no one could see the light from the cigarette, you know, so they obviously don't get shot or bombed at. But they would just stand there and just talk and talk. And it was that fellowship that, you know, now that they're out and their guys are spread all over the country, you know, they miss that. And I was thinking about, you know, the conversations that took place in there. It's almost like you can't just leave them there, because these doctors, these students, these people, and it's people from all walks of life, you know, if they don't have a place to be vulnerable and then and find that thing that could be holding their success back in life, you know, it's usually emotional. It's an experience that they've had in the past, and it becomes part of their story, that it keeps popping up, and it sabotages success. It sabotages happiness. And we need people that can recognize that and pull it out of them and just be like, it's okay, it's never going away, it's there forever, but now let's heal so that you could be a better healer, a better doctor, a better servant, a better CA, a better mom, a better dad, whatever your thing is, that when we can recognize that and realize that this is where my stress is coming from, and I don't have to hold on to that story, and now, like you said, control my mind and create a new story. It's a whole different level expression of life, and we're seeing it at DE. And I think with everything that's been going on in the world, you know, DE's doubled in size through this whole thing.
Yeah.
And if you look around the room, a lot of the regulars that normally come aren't even there yet. They're not.
Right.
It's all these new people and new speakers, and we just had our biggest meeting than we've had in over 15 years.
Right. I think
You know,
more than half of the people there were new. Right.
half the room was new.
Yeah.
You know, and it was funny because, you know, you serve on the International Chiropractors Association board. I'm the state of Connecticut RA, and you know we're so committed that this was the international weekend that is our big meeting, right? It's once a year we convene, and every single one of us, we didn't miss it. We
Right.
were on our phones, on our computers. We were jockeying between the DE meeting and being accountable, because we're that all in, and that was really cool to see all our people that came from all over, because the meeting, they weren't meeting in person, right? They were meeting by Zoom.
Right.
So we were that committed that we said we have to be all in to do our part, that people were you know dialed in while they were still at DE serving, and didn't miss a thing, and got the work done, because what this profession needs to know is this group is that committed that they put the work in. It's not just talk. I know we got big mouths and we're talkers, but it's, you want people that are workers, this is the group to go to, which is
Absolutely.
amazing.
Absolutely. And like you said, as far as DE, because people can go to a motivational speaker, or get motivational books, but the key thing is, and I think that the one thing that we can do, not only just us two, but all the other leaders in the profession, or at DE as well, is follow up, right?
Yeah.
Follow up, and like you said, we're here to hold each other accountable, because we don't know nothing's going to happen. We can
Right.
go and be all excited, and even if we figure out some stuff, we go back home on Monday, and everything's the same.
Right.
So
And I think one of the big things I'm seeing, because I've been to a lot of these motivational things, and done some big programs and trained with some big people just to kind of go through my own stuff. But then I always noticed the missing element was getting that atlas clear.
yeah,
Everyone's taking care of a lot of the outside in stuff, but like you alluded to before, it's the inside out stuff. And if you're subluxated, you're not living clear, right? What's your slogan? Live clear.
you're clear, you're connected, and when you're connected, everything's going to be all right.
And when people get connected, that's the big meditation. What am I connecting to? And what's that going to mean for the choices I make for the rest of my life? So that's our foundation. It's that founding principle of uniting man the physical with man the spiritual, and then everything else will fall into place. It's really so simple. So simple.
Yeah, it is simple, but it's the one thing that makes everything different. And it is, like you said, it's our foundation, and the concept of the atlas is so key. This little 2-ounce bone protects the most important part of our anatomy, which is the brainstem.
Right.
And then any pressure on that brainstem can create havoc in your health, in your life, or anything.
So our mission is to get that message out to the community, one state at a time, and then breed doctors that are delivering the goods, that they're going in and getting, pure, awesome chiropractic care, detection, correction of subluxation to live clear. And now they start to wake up and they have the tools to create the life that they absolutely want. So, I think that's when we tie it all together. Our past week has really exemplified, the future and where it's going. And we just want to let people know out there, it's like, it's time to build a tribe. DE's got a massive tribe, and we have our a big text thread with a bunch of our pals, and I could already see a shift in their consciousness. Sometimes we come back from our meetings and it was like great seeing you, it was awesome, but now people have actually been called out and taken massive action to just make themselves better, because it's going to make them a better leader, it's going to make their patients better, their families better, etc. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this all brings in the future, man. Any closing thoughts?
No, it looks good, and I said, the future looks good, and like you said, the mindset, or the shift in our conversations, as far as our pals and stuff like that, it's a shift in the right direction, and we can't complain about stuff anymore. It makes no sense. So if you see something wrong within yourself, or within your buddy, or your friend, or your pal, or your wife, your spouse, it's time to just turn it around, find a solution, and do something about it. And as far as chiropractic, I just want to end with one thing. I was reading a chiropractic. We get these magazines in the office. Some of them are just garbage, but there was one that said the only thing that's going to save chiropractic is integrating medicine into chiropractic. Now, we know how pure and beautiful chiropractic is. I think that the more chiropractors get the big idea,
Yeah.
that's what's going to save chiropractic.
Right.
So,
get the big idea and all else follows.
Right.
And that's our job, to live clear and teach that. So listen, it's time to build the tribe and create massive action, and it's happening, man. So
Yeah.
appreciate you, pal.
Love you, man.
You too, man. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Ciao. That was awesome. That was clean, bro.
Yeah, it was good.